let's talk about the problem with problem solving. Hey everybody, Randy Gage here. I want to welcome you to another episode of Prosperity TV. As usual, you caught me in between workouts at the gym back here in Southern Cal, and I want to continue our discussion from last week's show about possibility thinking. If you remember, I read you a little excerpt from, Mad Genius, and book 2, which was The History of the Future. And then I told you book 3 was about how we go into a higher level of thinking. And before I want to read you something from book 3, but before I do, I have to say thank you. I actually got an email from the publisher last night, got the advance notice of the New York Times list. The book has debuted number 12 on New York Times, which means we're going to do really well on the Wall Street Journal and the business book list, which are the ones this one is really relevant for. So it's doing very strong. The book scan numbers around the world are really good. So thank you. We really are starting a movement for possibility thinking and critical thinking. So thanks for all your support of the book. So let me read this little section about problem solving and what the problem with that is. When dealing with any challenge or setback, consider your frame of reference and the context of the discussion. Often the premise is misstated, and if the premise is wrong, everything that comes from that premise is wrong as well. If you charge your team with solving a problem, you shouldn't be surprised to discover later that they've been looking backwards. Because problem solving in and of itself is inherently backward looking. For real breakthroughs, you have to stop living in the problem and live in the solution instead. The same holds true if you're instructing your team to solve a puzzle. Jigsaw puzzles work because all the pieces are in the box when you buy it, right? All you have to do is figure out how to place each piece. But as we talked about last week in book 2, all the necessary pieces for the challenge you and your business are about to face, they're not in the box. So if we're going to use that puzzle solving analogy here, we have to modify the parameters. Now your job is to use all the puzzle pieces that came in the box, see where they fit, then fill in the remaining space by creating some new pieces in that amazing 3D printer called your brain. And then, of course, you guys with the book, you know where I go next. I talk about where I was approached by that Linus startup tech company, wanted me to be on their board, and looking at their technology and not being able to make sense of it, and then talking to other really brilliant internet people, and they say, well, wait, I don't get it. Because we were looking at it with problem-solving, backward thinking instead of forward-solving, possibility thinking. And then when you see where that ends up in the book, it's really amazing when you change the level you're thinking at. So you hear me say all the time, how do we create wealth? We solve problems, we add values. Great. But the best way to solve problems isn't to look backwards, it's to look forward into the possibilities. So make that your homework for the week. Think about that. You got any thoughts on this? Please share them below. If you get watching this on Facebook, please share it with the people in your stream. Or if you're on YouTube, like it and share it. Thanks for listening if you're hearing me on iTunes. And until next week, go out there, be amazing. Peace. Love you guys. And live rich. I'll be back next Monday. We're going to do another show about kind of taking the thought even further. How do we see possibilities and then go out and create them?